All right, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the World Hard Enduro podcast. As you can see, we are not in our usual studio. So we are actually back in South Africa doing a bit of holidays and spending some time with friends and family. And big shout out to Craig for letting us use his living room to get this all up and running. So yeah, it's really cool. We've tried to set an ambiance with our purple lights in the back and newsletter on top. But yeah, this is what we have to offer in this episode. But yeah, let's speak about what actually went down in the world of hard enduro this past weekend. We had some seriously good racing, and what a way to kick off like the national series in a way, right?
Yeah, there was a lot happening over one weekend around the world as well. So obviously we haven't gotten into the hard enduro, you could say World Championship season yet, but that doesn't mean that things aren't happening.
Yeah. Very true. And I think for me as well, it's the first time I'm following the US hard enduro from the first round. So that was also a thrill. But yeah, just to add on to what you said, there was so much racing and so good for the sport worldwide.
Yeah, and then for the boys that are racing the World Championship series, Alestrem Hard Enduro happened in France is basically that first race of 2025 where they can sink their teeth into a new race, their new bike setup, whatever they've done in the off season, and basically get their 2025 season up and running. What did we see from Alestrem inside this year from 2025?
Yeah, so to give some back information about the race itself, as far as I know, this was actually the 10th anniversary edition of the race. So it's been going for, anyone who knows hard enduro knows that this is quite a popular race. The way that it works is that you have the format of the racing is you've got one special, you've got one prologue, and then there's like one main race. So this is over like 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. On the Saturday, you start off with your XtremeTest. So apparently almost 500 riders started on that day, which is a lot, to be honest. That's a lot of riders. And only the top 100 qualified for the prologue on that evening. The rest of the riders, like their results on that special test, that kind of determines their starting position for the main race day on the Sunday. So we start off with like basically Saturday evening, your 100 best, 5 heats with 20 riders, and then obviously they're competing against each other. But obviously anyone who has been watching it saw the weather that came through on that Saturday.
Yeah, it came through heavy. If I had the choice, I would rather have been riding in the US. But the weather there was treacherous.
Yeah, it was insane. And we had some really, really good heavy hitters out of that race. Mario Roman, Teo Kabakchiev, we had Wade Young. Manny Lettenbergner was meant to enter, but then pulled out last minute because of a sickness. He had the flu, so he doesn't get to sit or start up his 2025 season just yet. But I believe that he'll be at the next one, which would be... Wild Willies, which is in the UK. Yeah, that's it. But let's talk about the races. I mean, we've had some of the top riders inside this race. Starting from the beginning, it looked like Theodore just had an absolute urge to win. And I mean, it feels like you can see even in results how that just played out through the day, right?
Absolutely.
I think as well, you can see it in his riding style. From day one, he was aggressive and ready to go. It reminded me of Billy at the beach race. For C2 Sky, he was just on rails from the get-go. And yeah, I think same thing there. Billy came to win, and over here it was very clear that Theodore came to win.
Yeah, and it meant a lot to him, right? Like you just saw the amount of emotion and just feeling that he expressed at the end of that race. But I think you're telling me that he's the only guy to win all 3 days or all 3 events at this Alestrem Hard Enduro at the 10th edition.
That's true. So for your prologue results, you had Theodore in first, Wade in second, and Sonny Gogia in third.
Great ride.
And you're right. So obviously jumping into the main race day, you started off really well. I think he may have won that XtremeTest on the first day, the Saturday morning. Then the prologue on the Saturday evening. And then on the Sunday, you had, let's just say there were 2 main categories. So you have the pro riders who are the black group. And then you have the rest of them, which is red, blue, green, and pink. So they all had to do 2 laps, but the pros had to do 3 laps.
Okay.
And the final result of that race was first was Theodore, second Mario Roman, and third Wade Young, keeping in mind that Wade actually didn't cross the finish line. He actually didn't officially finish, but obviously it works on your how many checkpoints you passed within that, final race there. But yeah, you're right. It is a first time, I think, ever in the history of the event that you had the same rider win like all 3 races.
That's wicked.
Yeah, and it's not from a lack of competition, right?
No.
I mean, like, it's very clear that this race is used as kind of like a warm-up to get ready for the Hard Enduro World Championship. So for us to see Mario, Wade, and Theodore there was definitely stiff competition.
Yeah,
so I think
sure.
that just adds on to and complements how well he was actually riding.
Yeah, and then also circling back to your point about Wade not finishing, like it wasn't not a difficult race. It was a super tough race, and these guys absolutely were going full out like it was a World Championship round, fighting for points. So that's really, really cool to see. And I mean, as I said, with Wade not finishing in the finishing box or at the last hill at least, it's a big thing for the race. It shows you that the race was a very tough race.
And just to go on your point of people looking good, Theodore looked phenomenal. Did you see Wade's getup and his sticker kit?
I did.
What was your opinion on that? What did you think?
It's a good point. I actually liked it. I liked the blackout headlight as well, and then his flag, the SA flag, rocking SA. Yeah, that looked really, really cool.
And it had like the gloss effect on his sticker kit. At first, I was thinking, okay, it looks very busy, but as I kept watching it, I enjoyed it more and more. I do like a complete red gas, but that one it looked fire, man.
Yeah, and with the S3 kit, signature kit for Wade, and then the Red Bull Aero. Yeah, it's good.
It looked fresh.
Good going, eh? Yeah, you look like a good... And that's the difference between a privateer team or you doing your own thing and racing factory, right? Like you get to pretty much do what you want. Yeah. You can rock up with a pink bike if you want to.
I hope we see more of that. I hope there are more liveries that come with each race, some special liveries for whatever race is coming up. I think that would be cool.
It's actually a really good idea. And because what Supercross or motocross race has that? They got the military.
Yes, military appreciation. And they have the 4th of July Red Bud where the whole bike looks like an American flag. Yeah. I think it would be cool to see that.
A cultural flag, like having your flag demonstrated or like kind of displayed on your bike. That's actually really, really cool. That pretty much wraps up Alestrem. Tell me, what is next? What else happened this weekend?
So now we're heading across I wouldn't say it's across the pond really, but we're heading from France to the UK for the British Extreme Enduro. So I think this was the first round of the Extreme Enduro, and it was at the Ball Breaker Extreme Enduro race.
Okay.
And also a pretty sloppy race, to be fair. I mean, looking at the content that we've seen, from that, it just looked miserable, to be honest. Like that mud, it was slippery, it was snotty. It just looked, looking at the riders trying to get up of those, a lot of bottlenecks as well, which we noticed. But yeah, it just looks a little bit miserable, to be fair.
Yeah, actually, that bottleneck comment is very true. Yeah. I saw some images of that, and it looked like you don't want to be stuck in there because you got to wait.
No, exactly.
But yeah, apart from that, the terrain, I guess it's when you're in that side of the world, it
is what it is.
Day to day. But for us, not used to riding that, it looked like a nightmare.
Yeah, the guys on the start line, not only was it raining, but it was super cold. Like the guys were struggling in the morning, like warming their hands up, and you trying to get going, but some heavy hitters inside that round as well. We had the likes of Radford Chug, Robert Trystan, Jack Price, who also are noteworthy.
So obviously, as you said, like Robert Trystan, Radford Chug. This is in like the pro class. You have your Jack Price, Jack Spencer, Dan Peace,
good rider.
Charlie Frost, also we know from the Valleys race from last year, and also an interesting rider, Thomas Scales.
Okay.
Who is the junior from South Africa, so a little bit far from home, you could say. But really cool to see, a diverse, new riders coming into, a different country's race.
Yeah, and I think also Radford Chug, seeing him on the Sherco looked good, thumb throttle and all, and it looks like he's going to have a good season ahead of him.
I'm stoked that he has that support. It's good to know that a rider like him and that's so passionate and just so talented actually to have a ride and to have support is good. It's a good feeling.
I watched some snippets of him riding at that race and I kept replaying in my mind that he's only been doing this for like what, 4 years?
This is his second year. He's done.
No, I mean dirt bikes.
Oh, dirt bikes like 2 years.
Yeah,
Coming from a quad.
It absolutely blows my mind how good he actually is.
Yes.
With such little experience.
You know what? The secret sauce, trials bikes. In those formative years, I'm telling you, if you are a long-time listener of this podcast and you've been kind of getting into tune with the guys we've been interviewing and stuff, there's a common denominator here between these top riders, and that's trials in that early years.
Is that what led you to purchasing a trials bike recently?
What do you mean? I bought my wife a trials bike.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That's what I tell
Stuff
everybody.
for you,
But my wife wanted the trials bike.
Or maybe it's his thumb throttle. Maybe that's the secret.
That's not a bad, actually.
Hey?
Could be.
Could
There's
be.
Something in there. Storing something in there.
It's all in the thumb.
But besides the very wet, sloppy conditions, tell us more about positions, how guys ended up in that race.
Yeah, so for the championship class, which is the main class that I'm going to cover, in first you have Jack Price, which, again, very good trials bike rider. And
Exactly.
I think that his skills absolutely dominated that race. So Jack Price in first, Jack Spencer in second, and Dan Peace in third. And we saw Jack Price having a very sweet beer at the end of that race, which I think was well deserved.
Yeah, boy.
I missed that.
Yeah, you missed that.
But it is Friday. Maybe we should go and get a cold one.
Yeah, on his name.
Oh, yeah.
In celebration. So next round.
Quickly, how did Radford and Robert Trystan, our usual world enduro champions?
So
or
riders that we mentioned before, Charlie Frost came in fifth.
Yeah.
Robert Trystan came in eighth. Radford Chubb came in ninth, and Thomas Scales came in 11th.
Yeah, with Stephen Bowers just in front of him. Oh, what is it?
Yes, correct.
And
Meadows,
who was
sorry.
our winner?
Jack Price.
Jack
Oh,
Price.
sorry, I missed.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. Trials bike though. He's so we saw him in Indonesia at Husaletan, and watching that guy's skills is phenomenal. Like, he's so good when it comes to tech. Like, trials make such a difference, I think, in those areas of these races.
So moving forward,
Yes.
the next round of this championship is going to take place on the 16th of February at the Wild Willie's Extreme race. Now, I have seen that both Manny and Billy have said that they will be at these races. They've entered them. So that's going to be super interesting, having Manny tackle Billy in his home territory.
Yes.
So
good
that's
point.
going to
And
be
healthy,
interesting.
or
Yeah,
somewhat,
healthier.
in the point. To
Yes.
a point.
So that's basically the next round of the British Extreme Enduro. But something I would like that I noticed or picked up on about a day ago. So it's pretty recent news. But I did see something about Edge Off-Road. So I think they're an event company. They announced that there's going to be a new UK Hard Enduro series starting at their first round in March in the UK. So I think this is a really good thing. I'm
Yes.
very excited about this. I think there's been a lot of ups and downs with the British Extreme Enduro because we've heard a lot of stories, and there's been a lot of controversy about like how races are organized and things that happened at races.
Right.
But I think that this, dedicated hard enduro series seems like a really big push forward, especially for hard enduro, especially in the UK.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to see what comes from that. Obviously, it'll be probably their first year, so a little bit of hiccups along the way, I can assume, but a good step forward to moving hard enduro into a better place.
Could you tell us more about like how many rounds? Do they have any more information other than there's a new championship?
You know what? There is more information, but you're going to have to go to the Edge Off-Road Instagram account, and then you can see kind of the general schedule that they expect to have.
Cool. We'll plug that in the bottom. So if you guys are listening and keen to check that out, then go check that out. And moving on to the last event of this weekend in the world of hard enduro, what's going on?
The US Hard Enduro has officially begun. It's the first round of the Premier Championship happened this weekend at King of the Motos in, if I'm not mistaken, Johnson Valley, California.
California.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I think just to backtrack quickly, it's so cool to see another enduro series coming into play. I think with the little bit of bad news that happened or up in the air news about Hard Enduro World Championship.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that in other areas we're still going strong
Yes.
and there's some good news coming.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I
from
agree.
the British are strong in hard enduro, so,
Yeah.
for them to have another series, it's
Great.
it's pretty
That's
great.
great. I would like to make one point before we actually speak about the US Hard Enduro race. And
Yeah.
that is that I genuinely believe that the US Hard Enduro has changed the game for race coverage.
I think I have to second that.
I've heard that.
They have absolutely leveled up
Yeah.
the game for hard enduro race coverage. And I genuinely think that other races and championships need to take notice because this
Yes.
is the way forward.
The amount of coverage that they got from their official accounts on YouTube as well as Instagram and things like that, it was mind-blowing. It was really, really good.
It really was. For me, doing research and seeing, okay, there's basically like a 5-hour video of a race, and you get the prize giving, you get every single minute is covered.
Yes.
And I absolutely love that. I think it's,
Yes.
I don't know if they were doing that before.
I think they were, and maybe not into that detail, but it's definitely getting better and better over the years. But they are well known for producing very good content from the race, and like having Max Gersten on board as like you would with Paul Bolton and stuff. Like it makes sense, and also the timeliness. I mean, it's not even the end of the week yet, and we've got a 39 video full race coverage from start to end. With the final hill climb, with Max Gersten talking about the race, like, wow, so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
And I think it's so cool that it's not just focused on the leaders.
Yeah, true.
Basically see all classes, even
Yes.
women's classes included.
Yeah, good point. That's really, really cool. And so the race, obviously some heavy hitters, some new changes inside the industry. For that side of the world in America, we've got Cody Webb moving to Yamaha. We've got a whole bunch of riders. We had Trystan Hart having a broken finger coming into the first day, or coming into the race. So there was a lot of not controversy, but a lot of things happening at this race. So also first round, kind of A1 vibes, everyone's nervous.
Will on the Sherco.
Will on the Sherco, exactly.
He looked good, eh?
Looked
He
good.
looked very good.
So tell us more about what went down on that race.
So just a little bit of information. So apparently King of the Motos is one of the longest running hard enduro races in the United States.
Yep.
And it takes place at King of the Hammer, which as far as I know it's a really big off-road festival.
Okay.
So there were a whole bunch of things happening, but this is kind of one of the events as part of that festival.
Okay.
So I think like a lot of, just off-road activities, which I think is it's really cool for spectators to go and observe everything that's going on at that time. So the race format, as far as I know, it's a 4-lap GPS-based race, right? And it says that there was totaling about 40 miles, which in kilometers, it's about 64 kilometers.
Per loop?
I think
in
total.
Okay.
I think in total.
Makes sense.
And that they created like a new finish line so
Yes.
that it was more spectator friendly. Everyone could kind of see, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a final hill climb at the end. So you can kind of see what these riders can do, what they're capable of. So that's kind of the general format. And that apparently each lap was a little bit different to avoid bottlenecks. Which I think is pretty cool.
Wicked.
Yeah. So then you have like day 1, race day, which I think was on the Saturday. 171 races lined up.
Riders.
Riders.
Yeah.
Yep, lined up on that day. 2-lap race, and then your results kind of determined your starting position for the main race day on Sunday.
Okay.
So day 1, still talking about that first day, Riordan, he took the win, followed by Trystan Hart, and then in third you had Ryder LeBlond. Cody Webb did not have a very good start on that day. I think he worked his way up to second, but I think there were some navigation issues with him and Trystan Hart.
Yes.
And then he also had a mechanical issue because apparently he rode into a rock. That he had some issues then with that as well. So
I think gear lever got stuck underneath the case and he couldn't get out of second or something. So he was struggling with that.
Yeah, so he only ended up finishing in 4th on that day after Ryder LeBlond.
Okay. So that's day 1.
Yeah, so that's day 1, kind of general idea of like kind of what happened. I'm sure you can probably also speak about how good Cody Webb looked on that whole shot competition.
Why aren't we talking about his move from Arai to Aero?
Aero, and he's moved from FXR to MSR.
These things aren't getting. I think like
I don't understand that, eh?
when I see video and like the setup of Cody Webb at this moment, it is insanely factory.
So good.
It
Honestly,
really
he
is.
looks so professional.
Yeah.
Like the bike, the setup, Red Bull pickup on the pickup. Listen to me. The Red Bull, like, what did you call it? Race. No, not even a van. It's a truck.
Yeah.
It's a
I
Red
know.
Bull truck.
Yes, yes.
And like just the setup behind him, I was like blown away with actually how good he looked. And he reminded me a lot of Billy Bolt in some ways, going from Red Bull to that Red Bull Aero and stuff. Like, I don't know, like I had like a Billy Bolt, but a little bit skinnier and, but it was quite wild.
Yeah, and to know that he's also team owner, team manager of this team now, and he's got that whole setup and that rig and everything. It looks like they've thrown everything at it, eh?
Yes.
And good points about his gear and his getup. He looked very fresh. When I was watching him, and if I watch him and if I listen to him,
Yes.
I don't know if you can agree, but he gives me very Travis Pastrana vibes.
Right.
Like tall, lanky, very friendly, very bubbly, super intelligent, eh?
Yeah.
Actually, very intelligent
knows what
guy.
he's talking about.
Yeah, and Red Bull helmet, it gives me very Travis vibes. But yeah, I think this is the place you come to if you want to hear about someone's new getup.
Yeah.
As we have on the TV here, we have Billy Bolt's new helmet.
We've got our factory riders winning over there.
Exactly.
So
This is the place.
A shameless plug. If you want to sign up for our newsletter, which you can see displayed over here, you can just go to our website or comment newsletter on one of our posts, and we can send you directly to the source. We're trying our best to really fill in this world of hard enduro between nations, between continents, and I think that we're doing an okay job doing it. So it'll be cool if you go check that out.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. It's good content, good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Back to the race though. So another standout ride, or something standout for me, was Will Riordan.
Oh, yes.
Like for me, like he looked good on a new bike. I think he's figuring some things out. It's first round on that new bike, the new team and everything. But I think that he's got a long way, or he's got a way to go, and it's going to be some learning for him. But he's got it. Like I feel like he might have something to prove for Trystan and for Cody.
Yeah. So before we speak about, let's just talk about the results, right? And then we can kind of compare. So on that final day, that start was insane. That like mass start up the rocks, that mountain, that was pretty wild.
Something else, eh?
Yeah.
It looked like when you see the shot from behind and everyone's already gone up, it's like you don't want to go into that dark place. It's like
Dusty.
you're going into a whole nother underworld of some sort. Like you're sitting there, there's bodies, there's bikes everywhere, rocks, dust. It does not look inviting at all.
No,
but what a cool feature right out the gate into that.
Good spectator view point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A really great start. So
get into it.
Trystan made a comment about how he is good on hill climbs and how Cody Webb is good on the rocks.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is was a bit of a mix of both, right? It was mountains and hill climbs, but also super, super rocky. So, a perfect combination to challenge both of their skills. But, in the end, Trystan came out better on the day, but not without some fighting. Obviously, we know that he broke his finger in the gym before, so kind of a little bit of pain there with the throttle finger. The clutch finger? Sorry,
yeah.
Clutch finger.
Clutch index
yeah,
finger.
so I think a lot of back and forth. I mean, in the 5th lap of that final race, in first was Will Riordan, second Trystan Hart, third Ryder LeBlond, fourth Cody Webb, and 5th James Flynn. But that was before they got to that finish hill climb. And right at the end, Trystan really pulled it through.
Yeah, he
and overtook and came out with the win.
He, I think Trystan actually overtook before that hill climb and actually came into that hill climb with a bit of time on his hands. But it was definitely, it could be make and break in that. But Trystan's just so good in those sections that it's hard. It's going to be hard to try and catch up time in tech like that for that guy. He just seems to absolutely own it.
So your overall results for that was Trystan Hart first, Will Riordan in second, Ryder LeBlond third, Cody Webb fourth, and James Flynn in 5th.
Fantastic!
Brilliant.
What a good weekend of racing.
And as you said, like with Will, Aussie rider, I didn't realize he was an Aussie rider. That's really cool. But as you said, like this is his first race on the Sherco, right? and he's really coming in second and
Yes.
giving Trystan a
Yeah.
run for his money. So I think it's going to be a super interesting, season for the US Hard Enduro Championship.
Completely agree.
Yeah, and I think with Will, it was very surprising to see him do that well at the first race on a Sherco.
Yes.
I think they've definitely got the setup and everything sorted there for him. And it's going to be very exciting to see what he brings to the rest of the season. I was surprised by how he rode.
Yes.
I thought it would take him some time to get used to the Sherco, maybe the first race, okay. But he was just hanging cable from the beginning, and he almost had it.
Yeah, he
He
did.
almost had it, eh?
He almost had it. But yeah, got a little way to go for him. And then another also maybe quick talking point or mention is to Quinn Wenzel, which is now signed or riding for Reju America, a fellow or a trials bike rider, moved come hard enduro rider now. And I don't know where he finished, but he had it's good to see him racing on Reju.
And I think also with Ryder LeBlond coming in third, I think that was his third year coming third.
You're right. It was.
His third
It's
year
his third year
coming third.
in
Yeah.
third.
Right.
And when you listen to his podium speech, he's like, it's hard to be stoked because it's the third year coming third. He wanted more.
Yes.
But still solid consistency, good start to the season, and he can go up from here.
They can go up. There's lots. What's next for them?
What's next?
So next is Ultimate Hawaii Hard Enduro from the 21st to the 22nd of February. And that is the next premier class race.
So going to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Lekker.
Get the shorts out, get the scooter out. But I think, did you guys see Trystan crossing the finish line?
Yes.
Did you see how ecstatic he
going,
was?
hey.
Yeah, we'll play the clip in here for you guys now.
Bro, he looks so thrilled, and I think it just shows how much this race means to them, but also how much he had to go through to come first. I mean, what was he benching? I think he was dumbbell benching 70 kg arm, what I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 140 in total, dropped it.
I can see
That's
how
how you
that will break your hand, your finger.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's
And so he already started off on the back foot.
Yeah.
For him to come through and finish first at that race with whatever was thrown at him, he looked so thrilled.
Yeah,
man.
it's good to see.
He just ghost rode his bike.
Yeah,
didn't
or
he?
just all over.
Yeah, I don't know what I think he tried to fall over and ghost ride his bike at the
Dramatic.
same time.
Super dramatic.
Yeah, good on you.
Good on you. But that pretty much wraps up this episode of our podcast. We just want to thank you guys for supporting us and listening to what we have to share about hard enduro. I hope that we're giving you value and that you can share that with your mates working on bikes in garages around the world and touch into a bit of hard enduro news.
And before we head out, a big shout out to our South African and local community and supporters. It's been really cool to come across our fans in public, and that's been really cool.
We had an interesting interaction the other day while we were at the mall having breakfast, and then some guy came up to us, asked us, hey, are you the World Hard Enduro guys? So that was a thrill.
That was cool.
That was exciting.
Yeah.
Well,
And thanks for taking the time to come and greet us.
You know what's crazy to me is not that they recognize us, but that the community of hard enduro is so big. Actually, I think that is the more exciting part of that, is that these guys are interested in hard enduro, and you guys that are listening are interested in hard enduro, and that's awesome. What a cool sport. We all know that it can be a bit rough on the wallet, especially when you're sliding down hills and whatnot, but it's what we love to do. So yeah.
So thank you for supporting us and listening to us. And if you're not following us, make sure that you follow, like, and subscribe, and leave a comment, because we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear, what are you interested in? How can we improve? How can we be better at giving you the information that you're looking for? But until next time,
Don't forget to add gas. Wow.